and it is number 2. Probably my last one, I think, because it's closest to where I am today. But my last match was at Wembley Stadium. It was a playoff final. It was Ipswich Town versus Barnsley, 2000, 4-2. Ipswich won to go to the Premier League, and I managed to score that day, which left it quite memorable. Good game, that as well. Number 15. That's a good question. I don't know the year it was. I'm sure I must have been. Things like back passes and stuff like that. The goalkeepers, was I playing then right in the early 80s, I think. So I think you could pass it back to the keeper in the early 80s and slow the game down. I think the modern game is much more attractive, much faster, much more happening. I mean, I do remember teams getting the ball off the goalkeeper, rolling it back to him, running up, coming back, the goalie rolling it back to him again and giving it back to the goalie. I mean, we all used to put up with it, whereas today it's obviously a faster, more entertaining game. Third one, which is number 1. Well, the most scary were people like Mickey Harford, Billy Whitehurst, just real brutal, physical guys really, who, particularly as I was quite young at the time playing against them, and yet, you know, people like Alan Shearer, I caught Kenny Dalglish right at the end of his career as well, and so, you know, the best players, I think Dalglish was the best player because you were trying to kick him and you could never get, and if you went close to him, Rush would just run in behind and score, and if you sat off, Dalglish would get it and turn and stick it through your legs. But people like Alan Shearer, I suppose, were flying high at Blackburn Rovers when I would have played against Shearer, so all tough opponents. 13. I used to always, again, I think you learn as experience. Experienced players when I was growing up would always try and get you to talk to the centre forwards really and chat to them and wind them up as the game's going on and trying to take their concentration away. And I don't think I was ever very good at it, but I think it's almost like, what do they call it, sledging in cricket really, isn't it, as the game's going on, trying to take somebody's concentration away. Again, I don't think it happens so much via the academy systems and stuff that goes on in football now, but again in the 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of people talking to each other and trying to put them off the game. 8. I had lots, unfortunately. I think the main one for me was the fact that I never used to touch the ball in the warm-up. So we would go out. The main thing is, I suppose, if I could get away with it, I never used to go on the grass at all before we had to go out, run out down the tunnel for the kick-off. And then once I was on the pitch, I would never kick the ball until the game actually started. And I think it was, I'm not sure why, other than I was trying to get in the zone really, get focused, because again, in a day where football was quite brutal at times, you had to be ready for the physical challenge coming in, so I was trying to psych myself up ready for the game and not thinking I was particularly good with the ball. I used to watch a lot of footballers sort of almost showing off to the fans really, keep you up with some volleying balls 50 yards and look at me, look how good I am. I used to make sure I didn't touch the ball really before kick-off. 12. No, I would have to say straight answer for you. Horoscopes, I know I'm a Scorpio, right on the cusp, Scorpio and Sagittarius, but no, I don't read them. 10. God, I was never really into music, I think. Let me give you. Was it Paper Lace or Black Lace, Billy Don't Be a Hero? Yeah. I think that was probably one of the first songs I ever got. Albums, a great album I remember as a teenager was 10cc with some great songs on it, like Mandy Fly Me and stuff. I don't know the name of the album, but I used to play that a lot. But them's the ones I remember. 24. I don't. I get it bought like most men at Christmas off their nanas and their aunties, so generally goes in a cupboard and stays in the box. It's I don't have a favourite, I would have to say to you. I know over recent years, if I was going to, if my mother or my granny had bought one, it would be one of these Abercrombie things that's quite fashionable rather than just a label that we all might know.
Number 4?
Number 4. Interesting enough, when I was out of work for a year there after Middlesbrough, I had a lot of holidays. I took my first ever snowy holiday. I'd never been on a skiing thing, and we went to Lapland with the kids to see Santa and stuff like that. But a favourite of ours is Dubai. I've got 3 young boys under the age of 10, so the last one might have been Disney World in Florida. But yeah, we had a lot of holidays the last few years. 15. Probably the wife. What would I have bought the wife? She's a shopaholic, I'd have to say. We recently, for a birthday, had a trip to London. I'd have to say probably some Jimmy Choo shoes from one of the posh stores on the West End.